Yes, indeed.
2024 is going to be a wonderful year.
Definitely hoping,
Well,
praying, and trying to make it happen.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when they put cataract lenses in your
Yeah, it's
eye,
very troubling. It's very troubling. Yeah.
sometimes it ain't
Very troubling and sad.
Like Lebanon's.
These allow you to
Yes,
readjust it
yeah.
to get still get reading in one eye if you want reading in one eye, distance in both eyes,
Try to
middle distance and reading in one eye,
Yeah.
distance in the other eye.
So the hope
Set it up
whoever
however you
at the
want it to
decision
do. They
table
can
is making the
readjust it
best decision
5
possible.
times.
Get all these folks just taken care of.
I don't know.
So they hit the lens with.
I'm not sure that that's.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Chairman LaBeige,
Here.
Commissioner Bell.
Here.
Commissioner Berube, absent. Commissioner Craig.
Here.
Commissioner Crawford, absent. Commissioner Goodness, absent. Commissioner Kelly,
Present.
Commissioner Macon,
Here.
Commissioner Provo,
Here.
Commissioner Segee is absent. Commissioner Templeton.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, our first order of business is approval or corrections to the Historic Landmark Commission meeting of December the 11th, 2023 minutes. At this time, I'd ask for any corrections, discussion, or a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes from December 18th, 2023.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a vote, please. We can have a roll, we don't have to have a roll call vote. Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, the minutes will be approved. We'll open our regular meeting. Our first item is PZ 2023-467. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to construct a new home. The applicant, Mr. Lopez, and the location is 2241 Liberty Avenue.
Chiliberto Lopez has requested a certificate of appropriateness for the construction of a new home to be located on the vacant lot at 2241 Liberty Avenue. The proposed home will be approximately 1,633 square feet in size, and the construction methods employed would dictate that the house is to be constructed on a slab foundation with hardy plank siding, and the windows will be 6/1 in appearance. The roof will have a 1 foot overhang, and the pitch rising 6 inches each 12 inches horizontal distance. Additionally, the roof will be a 30-year architectural shingle in Shasta white. Lastly, the porch columns are to be tapered in a craftsman style. The front door will be a craftsman style door with a half light, and the exterior body paint is proposed to be a Sherwin-Williams needlepoint navy, with the gable to be Sherwin-Williams colonial revival tan, and the trim to be a Sherwin-Williams white. Planning staff is recommending approval of the request with the following conditions. All necessary permits and inspections are obtained through the Building Codes Department, and the finished floor elevation shall be 24 inches above the existing grade. On your screen, this is the vacant lot on Liberty where the proposed structure will be located. It's the front elevation of the structure. And I did inquire with the applicant. If you'll notice on the drawing, it says cement siding. However, the application he turned in submitted to us as hardy siding, and he says he does intend to use hardy, not this cement here.
The hardy is cement board siding.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I asked him, and he's the one that clarified it to me, so.
Hardy's just the manufacturer.
This is the proposed roof, and I've included it on it because it's not a typical color that we see in the district. This is the proposed front door and the proposed color scheme. And while the applicant himself could not be here, we do have Miss Cindy here to answer any questions regarding the request.
All right, Ms. Cindy, would you please come forward, state your name and your address, and if you're representing a business, what that is, just for our record, please.
My name is Cindy Schooling. Office address is 11075 East Sixth Freeway here in Beaumont. And I do work for DSW Homes, but I'm representing Mr. Lopez. He's building this on his own. And unfortunately, he's working out of state right now and couldn't be here today.
All right. Is there anything that you want to tell us about the home or?
He's just, to let you know, he's just building it for his family. It's going to be a family home.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions from,
He's planning on living in it?
Yes, ma'am.
any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any commission discussion on the request? I've looked online at all the houses around it, and it's real similar to the other designs of the houses around it. In fact, there's two other houses that are real close within a stone's throw of this one that are on the agenda today, but it's nice seeing a new house being built in that area.
Definitely is.
And it's definitely an upgrade to
So many empty
some of the
lots.
houses that are in that area. All right, there's no other discussion. I'd ask for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve PZ 2023-467, the request for a certificate of appropriateness to construct a new home at 2241 Liberty with the requirements from the enforcement. I second for it, yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask you to call a vote, please.
Chairman LaBiche,
For?
Commissioner Bell,
Four.
Commissioner Craig,
Four.
Commissioner Kelly,
4.
Commissioner Macon,
Four.
Commissioner Provo,
Four.
Commissioner Templeton.
4.
Thank you.
All right, our next item will be PZ 2023-486. It's a request for a certificate of demolition to demolish a house. The applicant is the city of Beaumont. Location is 1032 McFadden Avenue.
Boyd Meyer, building official, requests a certificate of demolition for the house located at 1032 McFadden Avenue. According to the inspection report, the structure was originally tagged on June 12th, 2023. The stairs to the structure are collapsing along with the ceiling in several rooms. There are a number of broken windows on the structure where the frames have rotted. The structure attracts transients and stray animals. The property is listed in the 1977 Spare Beaumont survey and included in a local historic cultural designation. However, the structure originally listed at this location was the Bird Home, which was demolished in 2011 with approval from the Historic Landmark Commission. The structure there today was not included in those designations, but the land was included in the legal description of the designation. Based on the extensive repairs needed for this structure, the building code staff is recommending a raise order and has received consent to demolish the structure by the property owner. Planning staff is recommending approval of this request. We did mail 16 property owner notices, and we received a total of 4 in response. The first just saying yes, they were in favor of the demolition. All 4 just say yes in favor of the demolition with no comment, and they were signed by the property owner who owns surrounding land as well. And on your screen, you'll see just the image of the structure. You can see there's 2 tents pitched right in front of the structure to the left side. It's where transients are currently staying there and within the building. This is
I don't
the
see it.
exterior. It's right there, the blue and silver and white, those are tarps.
Oh.
So what kind of,
And this is the exterior where you can see the siding coming off the structure itself. That's allowed access to others as well.
So people are living in the tents?
Yes, ma'am.
People who own the property?
No, ma'am.
when is the last time no one's occupying the structure though, right?
I will defer to Ms. Delancey on that one.
They are. We do have homeless people that are actually in there. When we went to look at it, there was a lady that was asleep on a cot in there, and there's probably about 80 cats in there.
Can you all hear? I can't understand.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Speak up.
There's about 80 cats in there, and there's actually a lady sleeping in there. Yeah, the cats are horrible. And then there's a
like
lady
human beings.
sleeping in there that told me the owner gave her permission, but when we talked to the owner, he hadn't given anybody permission. But the lot next to it has a whole line of tents, and they all go over there.
So someone gave them permission for the cats to be there?
Nobody gave permission for anybody to be there.
Okay.
The lady that was sleeping in there stated the owner gave her permission, but when we talked to him, he
There's
said
no
no.
electricity or nothing in that house, right?
No, I killed all the services to it. There was, but
There
I turned
was?
everything off when I red tagged it.
Why was there electricity? The
Nobody,
owner had the electricity on?
nobody ever turned it off, or they still.
Who's taking care of the cats?
Suspicious. Yeah.
Well,
Something
they
going on there.
they actually jump it off and steal the power. So
Oh,
a
okay.
lot of times I have to report it. Who's taking care of the cats? The homeless people, and then of course they're just breeding like crazy.
Well, what in the world happens, because I kind of have the same situation. The lady next door to me is in a nursing home, and she left cats that had cats that had cats, and they like my house better than their house. They particularly like my porch furniture.
You
But
can
what can you do?
animal control.
What do you
Animal
do?
control, we're not gonna do anything with them. I mean, we'll move forward to tearing the house down. Once we start tearing it down, they're gonna run. Animal control has trapped, they have trapped some and fixed them and then released them back. But they can't catch them all. There's,
Well, no. They catch the something.
Were there any responses in favor or opposition?
All four were in favor, but it was all four by the property owner.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions for staff? All right. Is the owner in attendance?
No, but I believe there are several members of the community here who had interest in this.
Okay. If there's anyone that would like to speak to the commission on this item, if you'll just come up one at a time, state your name and your address, and you're welcome to comment. All right. Seeing none, we'll move ahead and I'll ask for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve file PZ 2023-486.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, we will have a vote.
Okay, I'm sorry, who did the second come from? Okay, thank you.
Marty?
I would like to have some discussion only because I know we were gonna have two other demos come up. And because I do intend to vote in favor of this demolition, I wanted to kind of go ahead and voice some of my concerns. I feel like the Landmark Commission, and this comes before us because we have a duty to protect the historical character of Old Beaumont. And my concern is, and this is a general concern, and I know it's not going to get addressed today, but I really feel like it needs to be voiced. I have a concern that somewhere we're not doing our job, not intentionally not doing our job, but I feel like there are things that come before us to be demolished that have a historical nature and have the ability to be redone, not this particular one. And I feel like sometimes it comes before us, we vote no, it sits there, deteriorates further, and then it comes back, to us again. And so that's the only process that's happening, and nothing's happening at the county level. And I guess I would like to see some type of coordinated effort from our commission, from the city, with the county, to see if there's not something else that can be done short of it coming to us for demolition. Because some of the other two properties that are before us, I've seen houses in worse shape be salvaged. And I feel like there's not an opportunity to the general public to be made aware that that property is there or could be available, especially if we can't get in touch with the homeowner. And so I really just wanted to kind of go on record today to the commission and to the public and to the staff and say that I'm going to be looking to see what I can do or what I can come up with the solution for a different process. Because I just think there has to be a different process on saving some of these structures before they get to the point of deterioration that they are. And that's just kind of my comment on that. And I'm open for other discussion about it and would welcome any other constructive feedback on how to do this process differently.
Are you talking about maybe some kind of a tax incentive or something like that to incentivize people, investors to purchase something that is?
That and just a coordinated, I know I've brought up in the past here, if there are back taxes that are owed.
Yeah.
You know, nothing's being done. And if that's a breakdown at the county tax office, if there are restrictions that are legally or with ordinances that are keeping them from maybe taking that to a fire sale quicker, you know, if the city's getting complaints, you know, or requests from concerned citizens, because nobody wants this in their backyard. I understand that, and I'm sympathetic to that. But neither do I want to see a historic structure demolished, you know? And so if there's a way for the city to coordinate with the county, and I know each has their own set of ordinances, each has their own set of duties, and I just think there needs to be some leadership somewhere to help bring all of that together. And
Do you think that, that some other department or agency within the city perhaps should have addressed this? I mean, I'm trying to understand why this is not a safety and health code issue.
right.
I mean,
I do know that Delancey does work diligently with the county and doing the back taxes research and letting, whenever she finds that there are back taxes, she does send it to the tax assessor, who's the one that coordinates the sheriff's sale. So I do know that there are collaborative efforts with that. Additionally, I know we have a property maintenance ordinance. This particular property, and again, I know you're not necessarily saying this one, it doesn't necessarily have the historic designation, it's just the location. The land description is what brought it to you today. It wasn't included in any of the historical stuff. But some of the other ones, when they get red tagged, the first thing she does is send notifications to every property owner, taxpayer, anybody that might have a coordinated interest in the property. So there's multiple notifications that go out. She also staples the notification to the front door and lists everything that they've been cited for. Sometimes they'll contact her and she gives them 150 days to come into, if they contact her, she can get them on some extension plans to allow them time to come into compliance or allow them time to fix these things.
If we could, we're in the middle of getting ready to vote on this particular one. Could we pick this up under other business at the end? Because we
Yes.
have some people that are here in the audience. Okay, so we have a motion and a second on PZ 2023-486. We'll ask for you to call a vote, please.
Chairman LaBiche,
Or
Commissioner Bell,
Or
Commissioner Craig, Commissioner Kelly, Commissioner Macon, Commissioner Provo, Commissioner Templeton.
4.
Thank you.
All right, our next item is PZ 2023-509. It's a request for a certificate of demolition to demolish a house at 2254 Liberty Avenue. The applicant is the city of Beaumont.
Meyer, building official, requests a certificate of demolition for the house located at 2254 Liberty Avenue. According to the inspection report, the structure was originally tagged on February 10th, 2021, after it received damage from a fire. The property owner initiated a work program on April 30th, 2021, at which time they secured the property and replaced the windows. However, no additional work has taken place since an inspection dated October 4th, 2021. The property is listed in the 1989 Spare Beaumont survey and was built circa 1925. The significance of the structure was listed as the house is representative of the local adaptation of the craftsman style and larger middle-class homes built in Beaumont during the first decades of the century. Additionally, the condition at the time of recordation was listed on the Spare survey as fair. The house is structurally sound but not particularly well maintained, and unsympathetic alterations detract from its architectural integrity. Based on the extensive repairs needed for this structure and the lack of repairs made in the past 2 years, Building Code staff is recommending a raise order, and Planning staff is recommending approval of the request. We mailed 33 property owner notices in regards to the demolition request. We received none in favor or none in denial, so no answers back. On your screen, you can see the front of the structure. This is where you can see that they have replaced the windows in the front door after a small fire in the front room. Again, you can see that they've replaced the windows and doors here. Exterior side. The request for demolition does not include the garage apartment in the rear. It is strictly the front building.
Is this something that the owner is requesting also, that it be torn down?
No, sir.
Okay.
Is the apartment in the back, is it occupied?
Yes. It has been occupied for as long as I've been in the district, so since 2017.
So whoever's occupying that apartment is paying rent to the owner?
Correct.
And the taxes that are owed, are those several years or recent or?
I will defer to Ms. Wood.
They haven't paid them since they purchased the property from Estella in 2020.
Can't hear her.
In 2020?
Yeah, they haven't paid the taxes one time.
Okay, thank you.
And then I also, on November 8th of 22, I did have a realtor reach out wanting to purchase it, but then they never corresponded back with us.
Thank you.
What all do we do as a historic community to try to promote someone wanting to save this home? Because just like I'm looking from the outside, kind of in tune with what Ms. Templeton is talking about. I mean, this house looks like it can be saved. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I understand. I mean, what is the reason for wanting to knock it down? Is it just been since 2021, or you don't want to wait, or what?
The damage occurred to the property, I believe, in end of 2020. And there is a large history of code violations of this structure as well. And then whenever there was a small electrical fire, work had began without permits to start the repairs to the structure. But Ms. Delancey has some more information about the damages to the inside of the structure.
So on the interior, there's quite a bit of work that's gonna have to be redone. The electrical's gotta be redone. They've
Well,
replaced some of it, but the walls are open, the studs aren't. They're gonna have to be replaced as well. There's quite a few rotten studs in there. Your floor joists got issues as well as the flooring. And I don't know if you can really tell from the picture right there, but on the inside of where that carport is, the house is actually bowing outward now right there because the foundation is giving out.
oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. And the owner, we couldn't get him here, him or her?
They don't even respond to us. He replaced those windows and never heard from him since.
And this is the difficulty I have with, you're asking us to make a judgment call that because of the condition of the house, it would cost too much to be repaired. And we're making the assumption that no one, obviously the homeowner is unwilling to do that. But I have a difficulty assuming responsibility to say there's no one that would do that. And I guess my point is, until this is turned over to the county puts it in the sheriff's cell and it goes up to auction, we don't know if there's anyone who would be willing to renovate this.
Oh, I'm sure there's people that are willing to renovate. The problem is
then-
getting
so then-
them to come forward to do it. So in the meantime, you got
Well, they
open.
can't renovate anything that's not there.
Right, but in the meantime, you got open windows and it's going to continue to be deteriorated. People are starting to break in, so it's getting destroyed more and more.
I agree with that.
A large problem too with the tax sale, and a problem we ran into in the past, is a lot of times they will not put it on a sheriff's auction until there is this magic number for them, be it years of taxes owed or amount of taxes owed. We've seen that plenty of times where one property is maybe 2 years behind on taxes and they'll throw it on the sheriff's sale. And there's times where they can be 15 years behind on taxes and they're not even aware that it exists. So that's, and I do know that we make a collaborative effort to reach out to them because, like I said, delinquency is getting that information of whether they're delinquent on their taxes or not. And we do try to let them know. But sometimes we can send them properties, hey, this one's really far behind on taxes. Do you think we could put it on the sheriff's sale, see if it's, collaborative? And if it doesn't meet their magic number, then they won't put it on the sale.
The owner of this home is listed to live in Beaumont?
Yes.
Looking at that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and he has a phone number.
Yep. And it's been disconnected. I've talked to him when he first bought the house. We actually tried to call him before the meeting. We were Googling and Facebooking him and his wife.
Yeah.
And we can't get a hold of him at any of the numbers are all disconnected.
So is this the first time this has come to us to be demolished?
To be demolished, yes. It's come to you previously for repairs, and that's where he got permission to replace all the windows. But that, again, was after a lot of the work was done prior to a stop work order being posted, or post a stop work order being posted. So they had a small fire on the inside of the structure. They began repairs. They didn't get any permits, not necessarily even a certificate of appropriateness, but they also didn't get building permits. There was no life safety inspections done. So we put up a stop work order on the property. At that time, I think everything stopped for a couple months.
This is the second.
I'm sorry, it is the second time. Was it when Estella owned it? I don't have that.
2254?
I can see that. I can verify it. She's saying that it was brought to you in March of 2022. I didn't find that in my records. I will double check, make sure I didn't miss it. But it's one of those, again, that, there's been steps taken to give people time to come to these decisions to fix it or do something with it. And as we've seen in the past, sometimes we do give them additional times, or commission chooses to table the item, which that's up to you if you'd like to do that, table it and see if there's other opportunities. But a lot of times that when we do that, we do see them continue to decay with no efforts being brought before them.
Has the owner tried to sell this property, or he doesn't want to sell it because of the rental unit?
So I'm not sure on that one. I do know that he purchased it from the previous owner with the work to be done. And then, like Ms. Delancey said, he came in, he did the doors and the windows, and that's all that's been done since he's purchased the property.
It's really sad whenever you have a piece of property and you don't even want to try to sell it. You're so lazy that you don't want to try to sell it. And it's like, okay, now how are we going to help somebody that owns the property, that won't even take the time to try to make a couple of dollars off of it? And
Or
it's
call a
his
realtor.
property.
Call a realtor.
Yeah, call a realtor, and it's their property. I mean, God knows, I don't have a lot, but if I had anything, I would certainly try to sell it before I'd let somebody tear it down. But we've sat here time after time when we had people that could afford to tear it down themselves and could afford to do it, and they just wanted it out of their life, and they knew that the city would pay for it and get it demolished. And, it's like,
And that's why whether we go into it more now or later, I'll just briefly mention again, if there's something at the county level that needs to be addressed, I'm gonna be talking with people to see what I can do to get that addressed. Because it's a shame
I hate to,
something like this go.
and I hate to demolish this structure without talking to the owner. I really need the owner here.
Yeah.
Because we can get a more depth view of what is the situation with this property.
So, and just so y'all are aware, when we send these notices, we include the owner on these notices of these meetings to the mailing address that they provide to us and to the mailing address that Jefferson County provides to us, and they've not responded to anything. So they're not responding to us, they're not responding to the meeting requests, they're not responding to Delancey's phone calls, emails. Since they've pulled the permit, we haven't seen them.
Question, when an approval is done for demolition, what's the actual real time that it takes for the city to do anything? Because there's several months and sometimes longer
Oh,
than
it's
that.
several years. So that's what I was gonna explain
Yeah.
to you too, is once y'all approve it, it still has to go to city council. So if y'all approve this one today, it'll go to the city council meeting on the 20th of February. Because I take everything that we tag in the order that it was tagged, so everybody's treated fairly and nothing gets torn down before something else should. I make sure everything's across the board, so I take them in the date that they were tagged. That's why this one's before y'all again, because of the date that it was tagged. It still has to go to city council. Then after city council, I still have to wait 30 days before I can do anything with it. Right now, I have about 102 structures that I'm working on tearing down. I may or may not get those down this year, so this one's not gonna be even approved, like actually torn down, probably until next year.
But that also leaves the opportunity for someone to come in and purchase it or
Correct.
something else. So it's not like it's over with.
Yes, and that's where I don't know why it happens like this, but about 90% of the time, when we get down to crunch time, is when I have somebody come in and want to do it.
Okay.
But until it's red tagged for demolition, no one other than the owner has a right to do anything with it. What you're saying is once it's red tagged, at that point, somebody from the public could come up and say,
Somebody else can buy it.
Anybody can buy it. You can buy it all the way up and pull the permits to fix it until the day that I put a bulldozer through it. So
It's a matter of the
There's-
owner.
But that would be the owner wanting to sell it, trying to sell it.
and we're
right?
still working on trying to get him to contact us, but I mean, I can't make him. I haven't talked to him in 2 years.
Is there any teeth behind your notice of the meeting or the notice with the intent to read from the city? I mean, in terms of, is there anything that we could do, and this is really a question, is there anything that we could do to add teeth to get them here when
So our ordinances are Class C, if they're violationable offenses are Class C misdemeanors. So Delancey could potentially, you can file charges, can't you?
Not on a red tag.
Not on red tag, it's just municipal court, or I'm sorry,
Property
district court.
maintenance.
On property maintenance cases where it's not necessarily bad enough where at this point where it would have to come down, but there is a Class C misdemeanor where we would file charges in municipal court, and then we file an affidavit with the court sends a summons, they show or they don't show. If they show, sometimes the judge will give them additional time. If they don't show, then we start through the process again of where the court will notify them consecutively until they're just marked as failure to appear. But that's with a different process than what this one is.
So when you all certify, notify them, is through a certified letter?
Yes, like I said earlier, it's mailed certified letter to the address they provide to us, the Jefferson County address that they provide to the tax office, and it's also posted on the structure. You can actually see it in the image that's on your screen. To the left of the door, that white sheet of paper is when the structure was, the notice was put on the structure.
And I actually send certified and regular mail, so they get a chance to get both if they can't get down.
The certified letter you received, someone received it?
Yep.
But isn't this case a little different because they've got there's two different structures and one of the structures being lived in and leased. So it seems to me like that the owner would have some kind of interest if he's getting a payment every month, that he'd be interested in what happens to the property. No?
He's getting a payment on the other structure. He's not making anything on the front
Know
structure.
that, but still, you can't sell you can't sell that structure you can't sell one without the
You
other.
can't
It's
sell
all
the
on
red
same
tag
piece of-
structure without selling the whole
Whole
property.
thing.
Yeah.
It's all on one piece of property, isn't it?
And again, if he would contact us and we could have some kind of line of communication with him, we could maybe have more answers to that. But at this point, like Delancey says, he hasn't responded to anything in almost 2 years.
So you knock it down, and now it becomes just a lot. Then who maintains the lot?
So the city does not take ownership of any properties that we demolish. The property owner is still responsible. There will be a demolition lien placed on the property. No? No. Only commercial properties, my bad, I misspoke. So, I mean, and if we, like I said in the past, if we do have to maintain it as the city, we still do bill the property owner. It's not something that we do as a free service. But the property owner does maintain ownership of the property.
But one of the things over the years,
I don't like this.
I guess the word is wiped out. The city comes in and cleans that lot up. And it costs the city money, a lot of money to do that over. And there seems to be no going back to the owner if they sell it. I think there should be a tax or amount that they need to be charged for that. What's basically gonna happen here, he's gonna have a lot that's cleaned off except for the apartment that he's renting. And I just think it's unfair for the city to time and time again
Solve this problem.
tear something down.
We can't solve this problem.
I know that, but you know, I've still griped about it 20 years. And
Well,
I'm
there you
still-
go. Now it's 21.
Yeah.
Now, you said the work that they were doing where they weren't getting any permits. Should
So they
been-
had started the windows and doors without permits. They came in and that is what they got their permit for the windows and doors. And then that's all they've done.
I'm talking about the electrical work and something else you said they didn't get a permit to do.
So they haven't done any electrical work?
No, they have.
Oh,
The-
There's no
something
permits.
Caused a fire, you said.
that was prior to this owner. The house had fire damage before this owner bought it.
Okay, okay. So it's uninhabitable. Vagrants may be coming through there, I don't know. There's no way the city can levy some fines or something to get their
So-
attention?
So Mr. John, our code enforcement
Why
officer,
is he gonna pay the fine?
I'm saying it might get his attention, draw his attention to the property.
I mean,
They'll come and do
if
something
tearing
about
down
it.
the house and offer to tear down the house isn't getting his attention,
Yeah,
that is not gonna give his attention, so.
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Liking the
Moving on.
And
and
your,
I'm gonna,
well, and your question about who was maintaining the lot, the city's actually maintaining the lot right now. And I don't know that there's a tenant in that back building anymore. I think it may be transients. I just looked at another case where they don't have active water, so we may have transients in that back building. But we've been cutting the grass. We cut it in October.
all right, I'm gonna ask, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to make any comments about this particular case? If so, please come forward.
Or buy it?
Yeah, that's a better idea.
Better idea.
I'm your go-to. David Bradley, 2165 North. There's an old saying in real estate, price cures all defects. Yeah, I'm sympathetic, Ms. Craig, that the city does not recover the cost of demolition on these residential properties. People that have means to take care of their own property, let the city pay the bill. So one solution might be is for the city to place liens if they're allowed to use federal block grant money, or you recover it on a commercial, but you can't recover it on a residential. But
We can, we just
Yeah, they
don't.
put names
you
on-
should. You should, because it's no longer a disincentive for the gentleman. He's going to let the city take care of his problem, and he'll keep the apartment in the back. The solution that you might have, Commissioner, maybe working a little bit more with the tax office. I've had good experience with the tax office. If a taxpayer walks in there and speaks with the tax assessor and says, these are delinquent, if they are 3 months delinquent, they're eligible for a tax suit and a foreclosure. And the law firm here that handles them isn't going to object for the work. And I've been able to move foreclosures up on a pretty rapid basis. It just takes a little diligence. Now, a tax auction will get his attention because even if he has a mortgage, that tax lien wipes out the mortgage. It'll wipe out the city's liens. It's number one. So if y'all do move ahead and go ahead and let it move forward, I would suggest I'll go down to the tax office and see if we can get it, but it's going to be a year before anything's going to get knocked over anyway. But just a suggestion.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. We appreciate it. All right, I'm going to ask for a motion, please.
I make a motion that we approve file PZ 2023-509.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
We make some sort of provision that if there is a buyer that comes forward.
It goes automatically to city council, and then there's that time period that anybody can take care of it. I don't think we need a motion or an add-on. It's an automatic.
If somebody if somebody decides to buy the house, when they go through the title company, there's a declaration of unsafe structure. So that the title company automatically sends that to me. I tell them I can't release it. That way the owner knows that it's a red tag structure, what has to be done, and then once the house is brought up to code, then we release the declaration.
There's so much discussion, I just wanted to make it clear.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd just like to make a comment. It seems that we are going to be, at some point, a historical community with a lot of new buildings of structure. It's not going to be very many houses that we're going to be able to point to and say that this house was built in 1925.
Yep.
I just have some bad feelings of keep knocking down these houses, keep knocking them down. I hope our purpose is to try to save them and save them as best we can. I don't know to what extent that we can get involved in that, but I just hate to see these buildings just knocked down. And I don't know what we can do, but yeah, that's just kind of how I feel right now. Yeah.
Yeah, Old Town ain't gonna be very old.
No, it's not.
I agree with you.
All right.
Chairman LaBiche,
4.
Commissioner Bell,
4.
Commissioner Craig,
For,
Commissioner Crawford,
against,
Commissioner Kelly,
Against.
Commissioner Macon,
Or
Commissioner Provo,
against,
Commissioner Templeton.
Against.
It's 4-4.
4-4.
Yes, sir.
All right, I have, for being chair, I have the opportunity to decide that vote, and I will go against.
I thought you voted 4. How can you go against now?
The chairman has a right to decide the ties. Yeah.
because he can't.
Robert's Rules of Order. All right. Our next case is PZ 2023-510, request for a certificate of demolition to demolish a house at 2229 Liberty Avenue. The applicant is the city of Beaumont.
Okay,
Boyd Meyer, building official, requests a certificate of demolition for the house located at 2229 Liberty Avenue. According to the inspection report, the structure was originally tagged on September 27th, 2021, after multiple code violations were discovered. The foundation is collapsing and a full roof replacement will be needed, and the eaves are falling due to rot. The property is listed in the 1989 Spare Beaumont survey and was built circa 1915, and the significance of the structure was listed as the house is a good example of local adaptation of the craftsman style and is representative of a middle-class home built in Beaumont during the early decades of the century. Based on extensive repairs needed for the structure, building code staff is recommending approval of the raise order, and planning staff is recommending approval of the request. We mailed 27 property owner notices and received 0 in response. An additional history on the property for you is we have a lengthy history of city maintenance on this property. Starting roughly 2015, when the city began on and off mowing the grass. Additionally, the structure was painted yellow by spray paint in violation of the historic preservation ordinances in early 2016. The gentleman that owned the property, when asked for him to get a certificate of appropriateness, he flat refused. It's been brought to you before for such request. You can't see it in this picture, but on the front porch there behind the plant to the left is a couch. It appears that someone's sleeping on said couch. This truck is inoperable that's in the driveway. On the next photo, you'll be able to see it a little more clear, but this photo, you could see the items falling off the side of the structure and the roof damage at the top of the structure. Here you can see where the yellow spray paint kind of ended halfway down. It has been this way since about 2018. Again, that's the truck there that's inoperable. It does not belong to the property owner. The truck owner is out of Houston. The property owner no longer resides at this location either.
All right, any questions for staff?
So currently no one lives in the property?
Not legally.
Unoccupied.
Not legally. If there's transients inside, I'm not sure, but the property owner himself does not live there.
There are transients inside.
Yeah.
We've actually gotten, the last 2 weeks, we've gotten quite a few complaints about people being in it.
And if you'll view in your packets, you'll see a number of photos from the exterior on the rear of the structure. And like I said, the city's been maintaining as far as mowing this lot and cleaning up debris for a number of years. It was one of the main ones that I worked as when I was still the code officer in this area.
And when was the last time the taxes were paid?
February 3rd of 2015.
The same owner the whole time? Okay.
It was a family home. It's been passed to a son, and the son is the one who no longer lives there, but he is, he's an elderly gentleman now.
And does he respond to any of the notices?
So the only time we can get him to respond to any notices in the past has been when it gets to the court, when we file charges in municipal court. He won't respond to us directly, but he will email the judge that he's unable to attend and does not agree with the charges, and that's about the extent of the communication we get.
Have we seen this one before? It looks familiar.
Not for demolition, but for the
Other
paint.
things. Okay.
So elderly gentleman, you say you live in Houston?
So the owner of the vehicle is in Houston. The property owner, the last communication we received from him, 2021 to the judge, was that he was living at a facility in Louisiana.
In Louisiana. Okay, and he's the heir or he's the sole owner?
His name is now on that property, but it was his parents' house before it was his.
So when you say own it, he's the owner or he's responsible? Person that's responsible for the property?
His name is listed on the Jefferson County tax roll as the owner, but like I said, he did inherit the property. It wasn't something he purchased separately.
I guess when I hear inherit, because sometimes there are heirs, not just one individual. Sometimes that one individual seems to be the one that's leaned as the responsible person.
No, he is the sole.
Is the sole owner. Okay, gotcha. Well, it seems like he might be interested in selling it. I mean, if he's not able to do anything with it, and, I mean, not that I know that anybody might buy it and fix it up, but I guess it's a possibility. I guess he's probably too old and can't deal with it anymore.
All right, any other discussion? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on this particular piece of property? Please come forward and state your name and your address for our records, please. Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good.
My name is Gloria Alvarado, and I would like to see if I could purchase the property, knowing that it's on back taxes for a family home. It's in front of my house on 2216 Liberty Street, Beaumont, Texas 77701, and that's about it.
So you're interested in buying the property?
Yes.
Yay.
Hey, great,
That's
great.
great.
Grab that woman.
We can put her in contact with the owner.
I can provide her the last address that we've received. Like I said, again, he hasn't really responded to anything, and the only time he does respond is to municipal court, and that's been at least 2 years.
The last time,
Your property backs up to it, is that what you're saying?
no, with the last time I got in contact with him, he was in what is called Mark's passes. And that's the last time I received that notice. But if there's any back taxes of that year, how would you see what I'm saying?
I
He
can.
owes back taxes.
I'll get with you after the meeting and get you with the attorneys that are taking care of the back taxes. It may, at this point, because he owes $18,000 in back taxes. So at this point, they may be trying to sell it at auction.
Okay.
But I'll get with you after the meeting. I can get you in touch with them.
Okay, cool beans.
No, good.
Okay.
Well, thank you for coming, because that
Yes,
gives us a
thank you
reason to not tear that house down. It's a really nice
It is
craftsman
nice.
home, and it just needs a little love and some hard work.
Catch up.
Yeah.
Me and my husband own the granite company, and then we're just trying to see where, because the roofing, it is leaking. So when you go inside the door, you see on the floor steps, it was leaning, but it just needed a little touch up.
Yeah,
I mean?
need some help.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I wish we'd have more people like you that came here and wanting to save these little houses, because they're beautiful little houses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I have one more question. With regard to the truck, you say the owner's in Houston. Has he responded to trying to get it out of there?
The last I had checked the case, the notice was still pending. They hadn't gone back for reinspection yet. So I would say it shouldn't, I'm not sure if he's responded to the notice or if the vehicle's been gone, but this photo was taken last week on Thursday.
We did an inspection demolition, I believe the week before or 2 weeks before, and the truck wasn't there, so I don't know where the truck came from. It could be a stolen truck, I don't know.
Well, that was gonna be my next question. Why we can't get it out of there if it don't belong to the owner?
So even if it doesn't belong to the owner, the way the junk motor vehicle process works is we send a notification to the property owner of where the vehicle is located. We run the license plate and the VIN number and send the notification to the last license registration and to the last person that registered the vehicle. And it gives them 14 days of notification that the vehicle's parked somewhere inoperable. It gives them the location, the date of the inspection, everything like that. It tells them you have 14 days to remove the vehicle or make it operable. At that point, we'll go back out and do a reinspection. If the vehicle's still there, Mr. Wilson will put an orange tag on it and we'll send it to a judge to request an order of removal. If we go back out 5 days after the judge has signed that and the vehicle's still there, we'll send it to a tow company and they will come remove the vehicle. The problem is, a lot of times whenever we do that process, once we tow that vehicle, people will come to us, hey, I was coming to get my vehicle. And once we sign that final notification, it's a certificate of demolition. That vehicle will be destroyed and it can no longer be made street ready. So we try to give as much time as we can on them. But as far, like I said, this one's been notified of it and we just haven't got back to that reinspection yet. So it hasn't gone through the judge process. But we can't just say, oh, that doesn't belong to this house and remove the vehicle. It has to go through the due process.
Ms. Bell, I want to ask you a question. Can a realtor help this lady find the owner, make an offer, process a payment? Is that a possibility if she found a realtor that they could help her with that?
Well, certainly a realtor could help her. They couldn't help her make a payment or anything, but they could help her make the.
Do the paperwork and the contacts and make the offer, right? So that might be an in for you, is for you to find a realtor that can help you go through the process. Because then they can help you with the mortgage and the other things associated with the property, and you know, that's what they do for a living. So there's an incentive for them to move that forward and help you. So you know, there's tons of realtors here in Beaumont that I know that would love to help you. Yes, ma'am.
There's now 700 realtors, so you could find one.
Barbara Wilson, 2441 Liberty. That man, actually, I met him, I guess, when I bought my house over 5 years ago, and he wanted to get rid of it then. And so he was trying to get rid of it. So, I mean, he might be even willing to own or finance it, you know? So you can go that route, not necessarily having to go through a realtor. But I know he wanted to sell it at that time. It was just, needed a lot of work. He didn't want to do it. And he wanted $20,000 then, so he probably wants less now, so.
Do you,
Well,
do you
with
know of any way,
$18,000 in taxes.
I just want the taxes paid.
any way to reach out to him?
I
or
do not,
somebody
but I
that
think if
knows him?
somebody contacted him, you know, saying, I want to buy it, you know, with that terminology, he may respond to that because he did want to sell it years ago. And as far as the house on McFadden, I'll work on the cats. I had to catch a lot of them. My shops are on the other side, so I'll try. I'll trap them and then they come pick them up. If they're able to rehome them, if they're young enough, they'll put them out. I'm not taking them to my shop. But I'll, and then the other ones, if they, you know, if not, they'll rehome them. Otherwise, they fix them and they bring them back. But at least they're fixed and they're not multiplying, but 80.
Cool.
Well,
But you could just trap them, you know, we won't. You know. Actually, the homeless take better care of their animals than a lot of people that have a home.
Yeah, I agree with that.
well, thank you. We appreciate your input.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Now, I've lost track of where we are. Do we have a motion and a, okay, we'll ask for a motion.
Pending the community responses and my prior comments, I make a motion that we deny the demolition of file PZ 2023510.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments, discussion? If not, could we have a vote, please?
Chairman LaBeouf,
I deny.
Commissioner Bell,
Deny.
Commissioner Craig,
Deny.
Commissioner Crawford,
Deny.
Commissioner Kelly,
Deny.
Commissioner Macon,
Deny.
Commissioner Provo,
Deny.
Commissioner Templeton.
Deny.
Thank you.
All righty. Our next order of business is our Historic District Code Enforcement Report.
I apologize. The report did not make it down here today, so we will have a double report next meeting.
All righty. Then we'll move into other business. Do you wish to discuss this now, or?
Yeah, I will just say, I'm gonna, based on the comments and the discussion that we've had, I want to talk to the city council about maybe increasing the penalty or violation for not responding to the landmark commissions. That's one thing that I want to do. I also do want to follow up with the tax office and find out specifically what their benchmarks are for pushing things to a fire sale. Because, you know, David's saying one thing, if it's 3 months and you bring it to their attention, they'll push it through. But if the city's bringing it to their attention and they're not pushing it through, then what's happening? Where's the breakdown there? So, I just think those are the types of things that we pursue. I think what y'all are doing is good. It is a valiant effort, but I just think there has to be something else outside of the box that we as a commission, since we are charged with preserving historical things, I just want to take a look at this from a different angle, not when things are coming to us to be destroyed, but from an angle of what can we do to prevent things from being destroyed, in terms of revising ordinances or revising procedures or revising policy.
Well, I know I, for one, would be interested in hearing what you come up with. If you do have some things that you'd like to report, if you would just let the ladies know so we can put it on the agenda.
Okay.
And then we can discuss it. And maybe if we have it on the agenda, we can invite city council to this meeting
Somebody from the
too.
tax office too.
Yeah, somebody from the tax office, maybe somebody from Jefferson County Historical Commission. Well, Teresa is,
Right.
if we can get her here too at the same time, would be helpful because, you know, I've served for a lot of years and just hands are tied or, you know.
Or there's a fear, if I do this, then, that's gonna put us in legal hot water. And so I just think everybody needs to be aware, every office needs to be aware at the city level, at the county level, for us, so that we know what is within our rights to do, number one, and that we have the authority to do it with the written ordinances and procedures.
Well, you may want to include our city attorney
Yes.
in that discussion too.
And also too, as a representative from the Beaumont Heritage Society, we would be happy to help you, and especially, that's why I voted against that, because it was in the spare
Right.
report. So anything that's in the spare report, definitely, we can help you with any research on that. I know that we have staff that can help too in what you're doing. They already have some information, it just maybe never got back to this organization. I don't know. That's one organization. But a second organization is the Oaks Historic District. We're in the process right now of, and I want y'all to know this too, of coming up with I want to say scholarship, not a scholarship, a grant system where we do things like maybe like the lady that is interested here. I didn't want to tell her, even though she's here, because we haven't finalized it, but we want to, like homes like this that people are trying to save, we are trying to give money towards maybe just painting the exterior, or really they can do whatever they want, but we want to be very specific, like exterior renovations. And so we're trying to do it in increments of $1,000. So we're working on that right now.
Yeah,
It may
something-
not be a lot, but it could be helping someone paint the front of their house or help with
Well, and
landscaping or something. It has to be for exterior only, and we're in the
And a lo-
process of writing that out. now.
along those lines, and like, when I say think out of the box, I'm talking really think out of the box. And I know this has come up in, I think, just discussion with the commission before, that we have no architectural salvage place here that's really good. Maybe you can comment to the contrary, but like,
It's in Houston.
we're working on the Hinchy house and, we need siding. We need siding. And so I don't want to see homes get demolished and that siding there's good siding on some of these houses. And I voted no because of the reasons that I've stated, but I'm just using that. If we've got 200 homes that are being slated for demolition, then why can't we use some of that to help preserve,
Well, Barbara just picked up, I say just, like within the year from a house on my street on Harrison, 30 windows. I mean, those could be used in a different home.
Right. So I just think there are things,
I agree.
we may not be able to do it ourselves, but I think we're in a position to raise the awareness and maybe put people together. And that's what I'm committing to y'all that I want to work on doing.
Good.
I agree 100%, and I also agree what David said. If you all heard him say that price overcomes everything. And so if investors, speaking of somebody that's working with investors, if the price is right,
Right.
you will have people buy things. So either they need to give some kind of incentive. It needs to be incentivized. It needs to be, because restoration, Don can tell you, so expensive. And so unless an investor can, they're not doing it. We wish they were just doing it for the good of the neighborhood, but they're not. They're doing it to make money. So unless they can buy a house at a price where they can invest the money and make some money, they're not going to do it.
Right.
So they need to either have tax incentives and or price incentives or both. But if you get the price right, they will sell. Even the houses like we looked at today, but it has to be right.
Right.
And I guess in some of these homes, we may find people who, such as retirees or they're elderly and they're on fixed incomes and what have you. So it's my thought that the city of Beaumont, in their effort to do the urban redevelopment or something of the sort, I think that they may have funds for rehabbing houses. And that may be an option for some owners
I
to,
live at 2490.
okay.
We do have an urban rehabilitation fund. It's through through the housing office, and
Okay.
there's a number of people that make application. And they do a lot of advertising and a lot of classes on how to get that funding. Jess Prince is the manager over that office, and she does a great job reaching out and getting candidates to come in to apply for that. I will say, we don't see people from the district apply for it, just so y'all know.
And are they aware
What
of
I'm
it?
talking about.
You know,
I would say, I know she does community outreach, she offers classes, I would say she blasts it, there's, email blasts, she does all the same city advertising. It's just not an area that goes into that.
Yeah.
And Christina, for what you and the Heritage Society is working on, there are some Texas Historical Commission grants that are available right now to help with education, they help with architectural things. There's 4 or 5 different avenues of funding, and I actually sit on that board that decides who gets the funding, so.
And we're trying to decide, it's through the Oaks Historic District. So people will apply and then we'll have a vote and give out awards every year. So hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have all the wording corrected, because we want to have it, we want it to mean something. We don't want someone to just get a couple of cans of paint the outside, and that's the extent of their renovation. Yeah. Yeah, but thank you. I will get with you.
Yeah, because this could help with the administration of the program that you're talking about, particularly if it's beneficial to the historical district. So that gives you some money so you can have a paid person that can actually push some of the agenda forward.
The grants are being awarded, because I know a lot of y'all participated and sponsored, like our Christmas home tour. That's where that money's going to go towards back into the back into our neighborhood to pay for these grants. So that's what we use it for.
Commissioner Templeton, I'm sorry, just so I can make sure I have decent notes for the other business and upcoming meetings. When you say penalty for failure to respond to historic violations, or increased fine for violation of failure to respond, are you talking about whenever we cite them for historic violations, or?
yes, and when you're trying to reach them for, I mean, I know we can't have subpoena power, but that's what I want to do. Hey, if only I knew a judge.
Yeah, we've gone down that avenue before and told no.
So whenever, like I said, whenever it's like a violation that the litter, junk motor vehicles, weeds, historical preservation, alterations without permit, those things are Class C misdemeanors, and the fine are set by the judge. And I believe it's anywhere from $200 to $500, I think, is the max. Don't quote me on that, because it might be wrong.
But I guess my thought process is when you've for years maintained the yard, you add up that cost. When you add up the anticipated budget of demolition and you add up that cost, what dollar amount? And does that push you from a misdemeanor into a felony?
So I do know.
It doesn't. What is?
He's not going to be in your court.
Sorry. Well, I'm just.
I do know that the 2229 Liberty property, now I do know, regardless if it's residential or commercial, weed fees, once your weeds hit a certain amount, you do get a lien on that property. It's a weed lien, and it is on file.
Maybe that's the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not really, let me go on record, I'm not really suggesting we charge people with a felony.
No, yeah.
I'm just using that as an illustrative example of what are the progressive steps legally that
Absolutely.
we could go to.
And so whenever we do, I thought we did put liens on residential structures. She says it's only commercial. I do know that regardless, if we do if we cut your grass, you know, we're not a lawn service, so the first time we cut it, we're just gonna send you a bill. The second time we cut your grass, we're gonna send you a bill, and we're gonna file charges on you in municipal court. That's a Class C misdemeanor. Every time we mow after that, we have the opportunity to file charges on you. For the litter, you know, you have 14 days to remove it. If it's not cleaned within 14 days, we can file charges on you every single day that violation exists. So there
And
is.
are we actually filing those
Yes.
charges?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Wilson here, our inspectors go to court every Thursday for those Class C misdemeanors that they're filing charges on. And Judge Lively's docket is full of them.
Okay.
But weeds, junk motor vehicle, litter, historic preservation alterations without permits, all of those things we do file charges on.
All right, any other business? If not, we'll stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good job.
There it is.
What?
Next Monday.
Oh, the
I said,
couch.
that's a sleeping.
Porch, sleeping porch, yep.